How you doing, everybody? My name is Michael Zapsik. I'm from AMC's Comic Book Man, and you're listening to iWalter.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
All right. Hey, this is Walter. Actually, I wasn't going to do a show today. I need one day just that I do nothing, not run to work or do anything else. Anyway, by the way, it's April 17th at around a little after 6 o'clock. So, I'm doing my shows like I normally do, but on the weekend. Yeah, I want to check the temperature, because I tell you, it was like 70 degrees today, I swear to God. It was pretty funny, but I had to do a show for a reason. I think I waterboarded all my computer equipment unintentionally. I'll explain that in a minute. Let me just look at the temperature. 19403. There's one thing. It's like, hey, I did it, yes. Yeah, 72 degrees right now in Norristown, so that's great. God, it's going to rain the end of the week, though, looks like. Well, they change all the time. They don't even know what the fuck's going on. So, yeah, it was weird last night. I, did my show. It was, great. And, everything was pretty calm. I actually watched, it was from Senguli. It was this movie. It's an old movie. It was 1963 or something. I didn't realize they did it that early. It was in Keller and everything, but it was one of those Japanese movies. He was making jokes about it, too. He was showing this movie called, it's an old movie, but Godzilla versus King Kong. And, yeah, these movies are campy, but they're fun to watch. It was funny because, ironically, people were putting up really bad Grindhouse film collection, and they put Godzilla versus King Kong. I don't think, technically, that's actually a Grindhouse film, but somebody said it was. They don't know what they're talking about. So anyway, it was funny. I finally got out today. I got my hair cut. I felt bad. This guy must have felt bad because last time he says, oh, yeah, I see he sees me every week get my hair cut. And I really don't have time. I was off before. It was basically getting paid vacation pretty much at home. I got to make sure I turn off my... Yep, I didn't do that. I have, my speakers to my regular computer. It really almost got destroyed. I put a couple $1,000s into equipment, and it would have all had to be, would have had to been thrown out. It still could be a possibility. I'm just crossing my fingers that I didn't damage it too badly. But anyway, I'm out today. I get my hair cut, and then I figured, hey, I'm going to try to go over to Walmart, because always on the weekends you get these women who really just are looking, I guess they're looking for guys or attention, so they dress in, there's a Planet Hollywood Fitness Center right down from the Walmart I go to in the shopping center over in Trooper. Literally, it's in Trooper. It's across from the Wawa. So they come in there, these women, and, it's just like, God, maybe I should slip them a couple $. They look like street hookers more than actually women going for a workout. That's always a big discussion. That's always been a joke. Usually the people you see in these fitness centers are people who don't need to be there. They're just there to basically pick up men and women, whatever. So, I'm in there, and you always see that. That just always, grabs my attention. It's like, yeah, I better pull up my camera phone and take pictures. Not that I would do that, because knowing me, I'd end up in jail. If it was somebody else, they would say, should I pose a little bit better so you can get a picture of my ass better? Me, they would they'd call 911 and the 50 and, have me locked up in 30 seconds, because I'm the creep, not anybody else. The person could look like that guy from I Know What You Did Last Summer, and they would say, can I put my tongue down your throat while you're taking my picture? But me, it would be like, we're going to call the police. You're a real creep. It's just, that's the story of my life, though. I'm not even kidding. So anyway, and I felt bad, actually. I was listening to my show because I know I'm going to get reamed for this, but I felt bad also of ripping Matt a new a-hole and some other people. I mean, I don't do this stuff intentionally, honestly. I do remember, because I mentioned yesterday, I usually do, which is honestly the God's honest truth. I do forget things I talk about, because Matt, you, if you are listening to my shows lately, I honestly, I'll say something, and he'll say, don't you remember what you said on this show? And God's honest truth, I don't remember. I don't remember what I did from one day to the next. So, God, I love this woman. Gianova, she put a bunch of pictures up on Instagram as well. She's an Instagrammer, too. And, God, I want to meet her at another convention. She's such a sweet lady. I said that yesterday. But, yeah, Matt's probably not too happy with me. I'm sure you're not, Matt, because I just ripped into you pretty heavily yesterday. And I wasn't doing it just to say, okay, let's make today Let's Pickle and Matt Day. No, I don't, actually. Because obviously I've done that before with Todd. I've done it with myself. I mentioned this before. So, I can say, which I will, I can say you have to take my comments with a grain of salt, but then, Matt, you're going to get upset and say, well, you shouldn't say it at all. You should tell me directly. Well, sometimes, there's certain things that just come off at the top of my head. I mean, I literally just, honestly, the whole purpose of the show, because, again, I said this before, I don't know how I was going to start my show. I didn't have any clue which direction I wanted to go. And this seemed to be the one that works the most effective for me, at least, is just talking what's on the top of my head. So I'm not like, when I'm in front of people, I'm too uncomfortable and too nervous to say something about them. It's like, well, don't say it all. Well, most people will talk behind, I'm not saying this is talking behind people's back, because this goes on the air, even though there's like 5 people listen to me. But talking behind somebody's back theoretically means that you say something to somebody you don't even know, and you don't even know that they're talking about you, and you never hear it. This, at least, you actually do hear. So, but it's like, I think what Freud used to do, Sigmund Freud, is like talk therapy. You basically say what's on your mind, and by doing so, you basically talk through your problems. Hey, the comic book guys, like one guy that does my intro for the show, he's actually on Instagram today too. But yeah, if talk therapy was that you don't talk through your problems, then that would be a different story. Like, can you imagine somebody saying, okay, you're in for the Freudian approach, and you say something, and then your therapist says, well, you shouldn't say that, because you should really talk directly to that person about this issue. You shouldn't be telling me about it, the psychiatrist. Because there a psychiatrist that actually follows Sigmund Freud. Because I had taken to be a mental health technician. I had taken the classes. Me of all people. Most people are nuts themselves when they go into that field. But just to give you a heads up, there's different fields. There was one called existential therapy, I think. I can't remember them all now. There was like 7 of them, if I recall correctly. There was one, basically, you could mix and match what you practice you do. Again, the Freud one is psycho, I think it's psycho, or I forget. There's sociology, there's a sociological perspective you can use to treat patients. That actually was Erik Erikson, who actually studied under Sigmund Freud. Oh, I remember now. Freud was all about psychosexual, and then Erik Erikson, who, if I remember correctly, studied under him, actually said, well, no, everything's not based upon sex. Everything doesn't... Well, actually, I think it kind of does, but that's just me. So Erikson actually came up with saying, well, no, I think it's your sociological, which is true, too, things in your life that create who you are, not sexual stimuli, but actually social stimuli. So that was 2 of the 7. There was, like I said, there was one called existentialism. There was that one, it literally was called like laissez-faire, basically let your kids do whatever the fuck they want to do. You don't tell them, you don't set any boundaries, because that would hold them back. That was another one, but I can't remember the other ones. They were slowly coming to me, some of them, but not all of them. But to get back to what I was trying to say, the whole purpose is the godfather of psychology is basically Sigmund Freud. And by that being said, the whole purpose is the whole thing about psychologists, psychiatrists. The only difference is between those two is one can give you medication, the other one can't. But the whole premise is they're supposed to, which they don't do it any longer, they're supposed to list real good ones. Like my one friend, he actually has a psychologist or I can't remember, a friend of mine. He has I can't remember what you call it now, a social worker who is actually probably better than the two I'm just mentioning, the psychiatrist, the psychologist, because she actually does listen. She actually does reflect. She actually does come up with, wow, she looks really cute there. Lizzie, the girl who can't gain any weight, she's actually got a bikini on in the ocean. She's a really cute girl. My heart goes out to her all the time. She, got picked on as being the quote unquote the world's ugliest looking girl, and she's not. She's really cute. She just can't gain any weight. She's like, she could eat like 5,000 calories a day and still not gain an ounce. The poor girl can't help it. It's just in her genetics. But yeah, the whole purpose, believe it or not, of a therapy is that you talk through your problems. I see a therapist, but I'm not getting anything out of it because all he wants to say is, are you taking your medication and is it helping? And he basically wants to milk me by having me go to a different psychologist on top of him, which really his job is to do both. He doesn't want to be bothered. So he wants me to fork out a couple $100 by going to two therapists, which he actually would get a cut of their pay. And, it's ridiculous. It's like, dude, I'm not going to do that. You're not actually doing your job right. You're just basically, you're making it into a marketing scheme that you can rip me off. So I don't get anything out of the guy. I get more out of doing these shows. So I get to, speak my mind, but once in a while I may hear. Now, Matt, you're going to ask, do you mean me? Do you mean me? No, I'm just saying in general, because trust me, I hear it at work too once in a while. Got to watch what you say at work about work and stuff. So I try to be careful about that. Once in a while I do slip, and I don't do it on, it's a Sigmund Freud, as they would put it. But yeah, this is my therapy. So to me, by you saying, well, you got to watch what you say, blah, 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 you can get yourself in trouble. You're telling me that it would be like me going to a psychiatrist and say, you know what? What you just said is very offensive. You shouldn't be saying that. Now you're going to say, well, this is different because this is, on the airwaves. Some people refer to me as actually a real radio, what do you call it? Radio type person. I am not a radio person whatsoever. I do podcasts, if you want to call them that. I honestly don't even call them podcasts, but there's something on that line that people, we call them whatever we want. Because honestly, I don't know. I just basically, like I said before, I'm just guessing on how to do a podcast. I have no clue what a real podcast sounds like. I mean, it sounds remotely correct to me, but quite honestly, I don't think I'm doing it the way other people do their shows, because mine doesn't follow a format. It never really did either, though, for that matter. So that's fine. I'm actually saving all these stupid pictures, and the problem with that is, who knows, could have some issues with my... sorry, this is funny. There's a picture on Instagram. Somebody, actually, a girl, had taken a picture of herself, and she put 2 fried eggs on top of her. Maybe it's a guy with just a wig on. You don't see her face and has no breasts, but she put 2 fried eggs on her chest. So, that old joke about, oh, you got fried eggs. They have a woman who has no breasts, you say they have fried eggs. Howard Stern came up with that one. But yeah, so by you telling me that you really shouldn't say this or say it directly to me, well, when you go to a psychiatrist, you're not talking directly to the person. You're basically venting and telling in confidentiality in that case, though. But you're in confidentiality. You're telling people or telling a stranger about your problems. So technically, it really isn't any difference. And the fact that I may have sometimes more than a handful of people listening, it's still not enough that it's going to rock somebody's world or make my friend Matt or Todd lose their jobs, because nobody really would give two shits. Honestly, come on, people. So yeah, nobody really cares, honestly. So anyway, it was funny. I was out today, and I went over to this place called Five Guys. I love Five Guys. So I was going to go to this place called Buffalo Wild Wings. It's right down in Oaks. But honestly, I just got turned off from going there actually at all anymore, because I like the food, but I don't like the negativity I get from this one guy who's a young kid. He works there on the weekends, works probably after school too. I'm sure he's probably college age or high school age, but he's obviously, without a doubt, the kid or the guy is gay. And I don't know what it is about these young gay guys, but they always seem very offended by me. Like, I don't know what it is, but they just like give me the cold shoulder. It's like, dude, I'm not going to try to pick you up. And if you're trying that whole thing that women do of, if I play hard to get, he's going to enjoy me making it like I'm not interested. I was like, dude, just to clarify, it's like this guy really listens to the show, which he doesn't. I'm not interested in you. And as it was said on that show, Lost, one time with the guy who apparently was gay, he told the one hot chick on the show, on Lost, he said, "You're not my type." So no offense to this guy who's gay and just treats me like a piece of shit. No offense, you're not my type. I'm not gay. So, big rude awakening. I might act like I'm gay. I might seem like I'm gay, but I'm not. I'm not even bisexual. So, sorry to ruin it for you, dude. But the guy works at this kid who works on the weekends. I mean, he is so gay. I hate to say this. He's like probably he wouldn't need wings to basically. He's like a superhero. He could fly around the room. He's so gay. If that doesn't make any sense, probably. But he just drives me like, okay, you ruin my meal from just being a smacked ass. I don't do anything. I come here to eat. I basically treat with the utmost respect, because they always respected me too. The waiters and the waitresses, I always am very nice to them. They're always very nice to me. The one guy left the company for some reason. He went to another place. He had a fallout with some people there. He was really cool. I used to always enjoy talking to him because he was originally from the West Coast. He moved out to the East Coast. And we used to bullshit all the time. This one guy was a manager, actually, too. And he said, yeah, they were giving him the run. Like my job I'm complaining about. He was complaining about. They were, making him work all these ridiculous hours. If somebody didn't come to work that day, he would say, oh, yeah, I got stuck, doing a double shift, and I don't get paid for it anymore. I'm basically living at this Buffalo Wild Wings. And it was like, dude, I don't blame you. So he got a job at Champs. He was a really cool dude too. I miss him. But he told me, it was a lot of BS, a lot of bullshit going on at what do you call it? At Buffalo Wild Wings. He was like, he had enough. He just basically quit. He said, I had enough. So one thing, I'm not the only one who takes off with bullshit. I realize that. But most of the people, like, I'll talk to them. There's like some different people. There's different waiters and stuff. They're really cool. They're like sitting, talking to me at the table while I'm eating, and we have a great time. But it's just that one person that does kind of ruin me just going in there. It makes me get like an upset stomach. This kid, and I actually got to the point. It was like, one, it's expensive to tip and eat there anyway. I mean, you spend like $20 on a meal after you end up tipping, because I give them like $5. Even if I get a meal for $5, I'll still tip them $5. I mean, I'm very generous with places. Tip to me is like, okay, nothing less than $5. These people got to work. Even the barbershop today I went to, the guy was really nice. I gave him $5. I said, dude, I should give you more for everything you did for me today. And he said, don't worry about it. He said, I'm just glad you came in and everything. It's like, that's cool. But the bottom, yeah, she is really adorable. I love her. I'd like to meet her. I'm sorry. More pictures of Lizzie. This girl named Lizzie. Yeah, what was I going to say? So, I give no less than $5 generally, unless you're a real total douchebag. Then I will give you less. I mean, one time, like I might have mentioned, I was out down at Hooters in Philadelphia. Me and a friend, we had this waitress, Hooters waitress. You know, one of those deals like, okay, you're Hooters, you're supposed to wear and show off your body. I mean, that's the whole premise. And plus, you treat your customers like they're the only one there. Well, she did zero of that stuff. It was like, you know, me and my friend Todd, this was down on the waterfront a couple years ago. She was such a cunt, though, to us. Like, she totally just blew us off, barely, like, gave us the time of day, you know, not barely wanted to take our order. So, what was I going to say? We deliberately, like, basically gave, I'm not even kidding, we gave her a penny for a tip. And she didn't give two fucks. It's like, well, you know what? I think that waterfront Hooters got closed down years ago. It's like, yeah, I can see why. You got fucking cunt rags that think that, you work. It's like working. I hate to say this. It's not that bad, but I'm just exaggerating like I like to do. It's like going to a strip joint where you go see women, because my one friend, Matt, he likes that stuff. I don't. I really don't. Hey, Todd does too. So, Matt, I'm not going to throw you under a bus. Oh, my God, Matt goes to these strip joints and he's a real pervert. No, most guys do. I'm telling you. I think it's a waste of money. I mean, you know, a strip joint, you know, these bars, there's, I think, one in Pottstown or two of them, whatever, where these women are basically pole dance and they get down to, like, basically a thong. Some places they don't wear anything. It's like, dude, I find it kind of like I do find it very depressing, and I just find it a waste of time. I'm putting, like, giving these women dollars to, that you're supposed to put between their boobs when they have no bra on, because they come up to your seat. And I don't drink or anything like that. I don't find the purpose of drinking or, you know, making an ass out of myself. And I feel like an ass by just going to these strip joints. Like my friend Matt, he's taken to me over the years. Todd, I think, might have taken to me once or so. So anyway, it'd be like I'm mentioning this for a reason. It's like going to a strip joint and the woman sees you, who's a stripper, you know, pole dancing, basically taking all her clothes off for you, asking for money, and then putting on a sweater and a long coat, and then doing the dance. I mean, that's what I mean, like going to Hooters. Okay, you go to Hooters because you go there for the atmosphere, the women. Even though they say, I don't know why, they say it's a family restaurant, which is like a family restaurant for men, adults, lesbians. I'm not going to keep them out either. But yeah, you go to Hooters just for the woman to put on, like, oh, I don't want this guy to look at me. He's like checking me out. Well, your costume, or whatever you want to call your attire, is shorts that your ass is hanging out of the bottom, and basically a tight top, like an halter top. And you don't want me to look at you because you find me creepy. Okay, so why did you get that job at Hooters? It'd be like me saying, why did you get that job as a stripper? It'd be like a prostitute, saying, okay, well, I want to get a job as a prostitute where I basically fuck anybody give me like $20. And then that time comes around, and then you say, you're not going to touch me. You're going to keep your distance. You're going to be on that side of the room. You're going to give me your money, but you're going to be on the other side of the room. In fact, I'm going to put on a hooker. I'm going to put on a sweater, and, I'm going to cover all the way up. In fact, I'll probably just put a parka on my head because I don't even want you to look at me that way. That business is going to last like for about 30 seconds. Just rude awakening. You're absolutely not going to go in your business is not going to last. I mean, it'd be like, I'm trying to think of the most ridiculous things, and it's not. It actually is working. It'd be like working at a computer store and not selling computers. What? You expect us to have a computer equipment here? Just because we're called a computer shop? What do you expect? I mean, some people just don't think. They react before they think. How's that? So, I just don't understand people. But this all got started from me trying to say, listen, hey, I don't try to pick people out. I rip people to shreds sometimes. And then if I say, well, I'm not doing it intentionally, well, you shouldn't say it at all. But that's where it all got started. It's like, okay, So you go to a psychiatrist. I don't know how I got so far left with this issue. But you go to a psychiatrist and you say, well, I have a problem with my mother or my father or my brother. And then he says, well, you really shouldn't be talking about them behind their back. It's like, okay, but you can give me your $100 now for, because you're here to talk about your problems. But you really shouldn't be talking about your problems because that's very offensive to those people because they're really not there. They can't hear what you're saying. So, you got to, realize that I said this I said it one Googleplex. I said it a Googleplex. Walter, how can you say something one Googleplex? That means that's a one with an infinity of zeros where they never stop. So, but I feel like I have. And, just kind of humor me. I've said it one Googleplex of times that this is therapy for me. But, okay, my therapy means I can't say anything. Sorry, my cable was I kept it short this time. No puns intended, my headset thing. So, yeah, you might have probably got pretty low. So, anyway, it was funny because I'm looking at this right now, too. Some stupid movie, part of some movie. That they have a hot chick in there in leather clothes, and she looks really hot, and she's got red hair. I have something about redheads. So, anyway, I go out today, and, it's one of these things with my self-conscious, and plus I'm afraid, okay, the fear of God's been put in me from my parents that, especially my father, that, you can't think about sex. Masturbation would mean you got to call 911 or 50 and get arrested, prosecuted, and put in jail for about 200 years because you just jerked off. I grew up that way with my parents. So, the glasses at the door, the glass, drinking glasses at the door, checking out what I'm going to say next. That could be offensive to somebody. God, this lady's pants are so freaking tight, and they're leather. I've never seen leather that tight before. It's a movie. It says Sharkiness Women's Prison Massacre. Never even heard of the movie. I'm going to have to check it out now. This girl looks really hot. So I'm I go in the Five Guys. I sit at the front window just to do as my friend, he's deceased now. He died years ago in a fire, heaven forbid, when he was only 20 years old or whatever. John Greenswell. He used to call it when you check out women without saying anything to him. He called it window shopping. So yeah, that's basically what I was doing. I was doing today. I was at Five Guys. I sit at the front. And you do the window shop. And you see these young girls who basically come out of these places, or they literally. I mean, this is over at a different shopping center, but they wear leotards and stuff, and yoga pants and shit like that. I mean, unless you're not a normal guy, you're gonna look. I saw some guy checking out some woman. She was walking by him, and he literally, I saw him turn around, and the dude had a kid and everything like that. It's so I'm not the only one who does shit like that. But she had on these with her kid. She had on these, or her sister, I don't know. She looked really young. Ultra tight black spandex. I mean, her ass looked really nice. And it's funny because my friend Todd does this stuff. I said this before in a show earlier. He was stalking out, literally. I met up with him. He wanted to go in some Walmart. He had me driving around. He had me take him to some Walmart up where he used to live in Lancaster. And there was this Hispanic chick, and he says, oh, yeah, this was really hot-looking girl. And he went around taking her picture of her ass. And I was like, dude, she looks like an average mom who had a really nasty-looking ass. It wasn't even that great looking at all. So, and I'm very, that's one thing I'm very finicky about. Yeah, women's asses. So I'm not like those baboons that I wait for the woman's ass to inflame, and then I, know it's my cue to go jump on top of her. But I know it's what the fuck did you just say, Walter? You make no sense. I know. So anyway, this woman or girl who was walking over outside when I was eating at, window shopping, when I was eating at Five Guys, really had a nice ass. I seen this guy do a rubberneck. I was like, yeah, I got to figure out where she went in. I knew she went in this shoe store, one of those Paylesses, with her sister or her daughter. I was like, yeah, I got to follow this in because this is one nice fucking ass. But you know what? I was so not anal, But I was so petrified of doing that. Again, I have my parents' voice in my head, like Stern said about it. He always had his dad's voice in his head, or his mom's voice in his head. And I was afraid, okay, if I do that, and that's OCD too. I was afraid, okay, my computer is definitely, as payback from God, he's going to say, okay, so you really wanted to check out that young woman's nice ass, so guess what's going to happen with your computer equipment that you spend about $2,000 or $3,000 on? It's all going to go up in flames. So it was like, you know what? As much as it's going to kill me, I'm not going to go stalk her out like my friend Todd did that time, which I would have loved to. I want to take pictures like him. That would really just be creepy, even for me. Not for him. He did it, but not me. And she had a really ultra nice ass. So I kind of just let it go. But it just, I wanted to, though. And trust me, when I see a hot girl, I'm not going to go and, because I know people do that. God, I see those videos online all the time where guys will do that. They will, take pictures of women, follow them around. I'm not even talking about stalking them in bathrooms, but they do. They take, they're called voyeur videos. Yeah, here's this video. Where do they get these stupid movies? I'm going to have to check it out, though. See if I can get it. The one with the chick with the nice ass, the leather one I was talking about earlier. You can get it on Shout Films, and it is called Shark Kansas Women's Prison Massacre. That is a new one. That's like a mouthful. I wonder if I can rent that on Amazon, because I might just have to rent it. It doesn't even look like a fucking shark. That's the weird thing. It looks like something else. So, anyway, I'm sorry, I got distracted again. I'm just praying, I'm praying to God that this stuff does not get ruined. Yeah, you have to buy the movie. It got 1 star, too. You can buy it for $15 on Blu-ray or DVD. There's no difference in the price for this bad fucking movie. So I like these movies because I like the hot chicks. I'm not going to rent a porn because they're boring, but I will rent a horror movie and see chicks in those. But why would I want to buy such a bad movie? I was hoping I could rent it. So anyway, yeah, I was like, it's still in the back of my head. That's why I'm talking about it. By the way, I'm still thinking about this chick who had a really nice fucking ass. I've seen some MILFs, that. Yeah, they're really, really hot and they're with their kids. And it's like, okay, you dress like you're 15. I know I've said this before. I love that. But you dress like you're 15 years old and you got a bunch 5 kids with you. But, or they have their daughters with them, which these women are competing against their daughters on trying to look like, like a teenager. Like wear a ponytail, yoga pants, lycra spandex next to their daughter, and a halter top. I've seen this so many times. And it's like, okay, no wonder why these kids are all messed up, because, their mothers, and they're probably their fathers if they have a father, that live with the mom, are a total fucking mess. So I'm not surprised. So anyway, my main reason for wanting to do a show today, like I said, I didn't want to do one today. One day Walter needs to rest. He needs to do nothing, so my parents can get a rest. Their ears are starting to turn red from pressing glasses against the door. So I'm doing one anyway. You know what's really depressing, by the way, too, folks? My friend at work who bought John, I shouldn't hurt, because I know 50 Johns. He bought my... He got a really good deal, but I got a good deal, too, because I couldn't get that much trying to sell it off, even though I put in a lot of extras. I might have to look on Micro Center, see what they have in Max, in case this one breaks. But I bought at Micro Center a refurbished Surface 2, which I don't even freaking use. Put in Mac Pro just in case. You can't buy the Mac Pro I have anymore. Yeah, I'm looking at the brand new Mac Pros that they have. They're really, really expensive to upgrade because they come bare bones at Micro Center. It's $3,000 or $4,000, but once you get it set up the way you're supposed to, it's literally $10,000. So that's what's really depressing. Now I'm going to look. But I sold, sorry about that. I sold a friend at work my Surface Pro because I don't use it. And I'd rather just stick with all Apple stuff. And he bought it for $200. So, I mean, I don't want to rip him off, but I don't want to, don't want to tell him I was actually expecting him to say, oh, I'll give you $150 for it. Now, he gave me like $200, and it's like, okay, dude, I'm not going to complain because, I did give him a lot of extra stuff. So, the one I sold him, they have one at Micro Center now for $329. So, but I think it's manufacturer certified too, also. So I gave him a good deal, and I gave him a lot of extra stuff. I would rather have the iPad Pro with and I wouldn't even use that though. That's the problem. I'm trying to see what they go for iPad Pros because they're really expensive. Because I get the 128 gig ones. Actually, they're not too bad. Let me see. iPad Pros. Sorry. The iPad Pros are basically, they're an iPad but with a bigger screen. So the one I would get would be 128 gig. That's $1,000. If I would get one. I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying if I would get one. Which you're better off because you can get a 32 gig one. It's going to cost you $700. You can get, actually they got one that's space gray for $849. That's actually not too bad. Like when you're paying for 32 gigs, you're paying like $800 for $1,000. You can get 128 gigs, which is like 4 times the amount of memory. So that's what I'm saying. Oh, actually, now they have an iPad Pro with 250 gigs. I didn't know that, and that's actually $1,000. So you can get one with 128 gigs for $1,000. You can get one with 256, which is double the memory, unless that was a typo. For $1,000, it makes no sense though. And I started liking, I don't know why, just because it was different. I got the gold iPhone and I got an gold Mac Pro, Mac Mini, and because I cover them up anyway. But it looks kind of cool. It's something different. Excuse me, yeah, but I got a 128 gold Apple Mac Pro for our $850, and then for another $150 you can get, for $1,000 basically. You can get one with 256 gigs. So you're actually better off. Now, the thing about Micro Center, I know I'm doing what I normally do, just go all over the place. But honestly, you can get a Micro Center card, and I said this to a woman about she needed a new computer. I said either Micro Center or Best Buy. She ended up going to Best Buy. You can actually get, believe it or not, that's what it is. So they got the Mac Pro 9.7 inch, which is the normal standard size, by the way. Both those companies have their own gift credit cards, and by that being said, you can actually get like a year, 6 months to a year, maybe sometimes like 2 years, interest free, which I did at Best Buy when I bought this TV set. Now, I said the other day I paid $1,200 for the set. I actually only paid, I got it on sale for, I think it was like $700 or $800, something like that. But then I bought like the extended warranty for an extra $200-300. And it's like saying, why would you waste your money on that? But you know what? That actually comes in really handy because you never know. I actually got into that, buying those extended warranties, by the way, because of what happened to me with, I had a Sony TV set. It was brand new. I bought it from, what do you call it? I bought it from Walmart, and my dad got the same set. My mom bought my dad the same set I have. And believe it or not, the TV set actually did go. It went bad. Like something ended up going wrong on the set. So that being said, it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm buying these extended warranties. And I know they're expensive, but I'd rather pay $200-300 for an extended warranty. And then if something does go wrong, it's just insurance, basically, what you're buying. But if something goes wrong then, I have that insurance then that I can take it back. And I've used it. I've taken advantage of having extended warranties and actually using them. 99% of the time, I use the extended warranties I buy. It's not that I'm wasting my money. Trust me, I literally do use them. So they've never been a waste for the most part. They're actually well worth it. So again, you're probably saying, why would you spend $300 on an extended warranty? What's the reason for doing that? Well, because honestly, most electronic stuff nowadays, they don't design it to last. They want you to end up repurchasing stuff. And I've said this in the past. For those who didn't hear it, I'll say it again. That I bought an extended warranty from GameStop on what was it? On the console. I had the Xbox One I had. And it was one of those things, again, I spilled literally, I think it was soda or water. I think it was just water. It was a bottle of water. Spilled it, and like the unit itself was actually covered up. It was like underneath a TV stand. But for some reason, it dripped down right on the unit. It didn't even get that wet. That's what scared me about this Mac, which was a lot more money invested in that. But yeah, somehow a drop of water got into my my Xbox, and it shorted it out. It would not work again. So it was deader than a doornail. Put the coins on top of the eyelids, if you could, on top of the console. It was dead. It was not going to wake up. So I had taken it back, like I might have mentioned before, to the GameStop, which I did buy a warranty. I think it was like not even that expensive. It was probably like $50 or whatever. And, hey, it was worth it because, they honored it. And I said, hey, you know what? I really don't want another Xbox. I want a white console too. Is it possible for me, which I didn't think they were going to do it. And I said, yeah, we're just going to give you the full credit for your Xbox. We're going to give you credit for your games, for everything. And we'll let you repurchase with another warranty because I had enough money to do so. We'll let you repurchase. They didn't have them new, unfortunately, because they don't make them as frequently. Like now they're putting out all these Xboxes that are white consoles. It's probably the reason people do like the white like I do. So anyway, yeah, what was I going to say? But I wanted the PlayStation because at first, when I had a PlayStation originally, that's what I wanted, and it didn't work with what I wanted to use it for, which now I'm using it for what I want it for. Playing Blu-rays, renting movies, things like that, playing some games. So everything works perfect, and it is a lot faster compared to the Xbox. Specs are exactly the same, but the RAM they use, even though it's the same specs so to speak, same amount of memory, the RAM is actually twice as, like about 30% faster or something like that. I'm taking a guess. It's much faster. And the performance of the machine all by itself, and it's easier to work on, the PlayStation. But yeah, the bottom line was I pay like about $150, whatever it was. You pay a percentage of whatever you buy in GameStop. Got my money back for the console that was, broken. And they didn't even ask any questions. They didn't look to see if there was water damage, because there was. They just kind of written it off as a damaged piece of product, but I had insurance on it. They gave me money for the games and everything else, the controllers, whole 9 yards. And I ended up having pocket change, money they actually gave me back, physical cash, after I was done. Everything was said and done as well. And I got everything I wanted that I had before, even the same games. I bought all the same games again for the PlayStation. Some of them were old now. And I hate to say it, I got some of those games from PlayStation. They're still in the shrink wrap, too, so they're, in mint condition. Some games I forget that. Diablo. I love Diablo. I used to play it. The first game I ever got for a Mac that I ever bought. It was the only game they had at that time. You're talking, I would say about 10 years ago. The very first Mac I ever bought was Diablo. And I used to be addicted to that freaking game. I would be playing Diablo on... It was the Max Snow was called at the time. I got to see what the proper name for that one was. The one I have is called Max Snow. Because it should come up. No, Max Snow. Put in old iMacs. It might have been just called the iMac. Yeah, that's probably what it was called. More images of the iMac. I had the iMac, and it was the Mac Snow iMac. I got it at where was it? I got it at CompUSA back in the day. So I gotta send this picture. It's a picture of a Mac Snow. They hollowed it out, and they made it into a little bed for their cat. I'm not even kidding. I think that's hilarious. I'm going to use that. I love that machine. I sold it to a friend. He said he never used it, but then eventually it broke on him. So without even using it, he just didn't take care of it right. So it broke. So but I loved it. I had the Mac Snow. I had another the Mac that was basically it was the iMac G4. I love that too. That was great. I had most of the Macs that were out there, not the very early ones, but I did have different ones. I had when they first introduced basically the new all titanium Macs when they first came out. I bought that, and I literally bought it brand new. It cost me like $3,000 when I bought it. And a friend said he would give me money for it because I said, well, I really am not using the Mac as much. I'm going to go back to computers. He said, I'll give you some money for it. Just like give it to me. He never gave me a dime. And I was like still paying on the fucking thing. And he actually took it apart and modded certain things. Like, dude, you never bought it off me. And then you're like fucking with it. A $3,000 computer, you never gave me a dime for it. I was pissed. I mean, he did a lot of work for me. And he said, well, you can just pay me off. I'll just consider all the work I'm doing for you as a payoff. It's like, dude, that's not really what I expected. I didn't expect you to rip me off. But yeah, I used to love the Macs, and Diablo was the game to ship back in the day. I loved it. I got stuck after a while. It was a very simple game. It was like a 2D, 3D game, but oh my God, I used to love that game. And I played all the time, but that's why I still, to this day, buy Diablo when I do. So anyway, I still didn't get to the point about my computer, which I'm really like paranoid about. I'm going to have to look on eBay for a Mac Pro. I think 2012 was the last year they put out. 2010 and 2012, the specs are exactly the same. There's no difference in the computers. So just if it goes, and I had to get another one, I would think I could salvage some of the hard drives, which I'm hoping I don't have to do this. And obviously then salvage some of the RAM, because I have 32 gigs of RAM. It's all brand new. Let's see. Mac 2012. I forgot to put Pro. I mean, I could go cheaper, but you can't upgrade it, though. I could go actually, that's not too bad. They've dropped drastically now. You can buy, I'm looking right now on... See, I got a 6-core processor system, too. Okay, wow, that is really good, then. If worse came to worse, I really don't want to do this. I'm looking on eBay right now. There's this one place, they actually refurbish old Mac Pros, and they did a decent job. There was a couple scratches on the one I bought from this place. They take old systems and they rebuilt them and mod them. They do a really nice job, I'll tell you that much. I can't remember the name of the company or on eBay. But I think it's the same company, and their shipping's not that bad. Free shipping, so that, yeah, that's not bad. You can buy an Apple Mac Pro 2012, the Tower case, 6-core, just like what I have, with a 1 terabyte hard drive and the ATI 5770 for $1,200. That is not bad at all. So, in fact, right now I'm just going to mark it just in case. But this place, I've dealt with them before. Oh, wow. This one, actually, this particular model is pretty heavily scratched and banged up. Because I was going to say, that's not a bad deal at all. But yeah, I bought computers off them before, and normally they're really good shape. But they let you know. When you get one that cheap, it was too good to be true, especially with those specs. You got to put in like new, because they have been non-existent for the past 4 years. Actually, I put in like new, and one came up. It's probably the same one, best offer, a little over $1,000. 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte. Wow, I tell you, it's much cheaper. But yeah, but it's all scuffed. Yeah, because here's one 2012, 12 gigs of RAM, 12 core, but it's like $1,600. So, but this is one of these people, they babied their computer. I mean, I normally, honestly, I baby my computers myself. I did sell to my place my old computer, and they banged it up. Not the place I bought it from, some other place. And they tried to pull this stunt. I think it was that, I forget. It's one of these Mac places they buy old Mac shit. And they resell it. And I had taken, I'll just give you a heads up, you need to do this too, folks, is when you send anything off you want to sell, like computer equipment, especially your Mac, an old Mac you might have, take pictures of it. Take pictures of everything, because I did this. And what happened was, this place, they banged it up. They said, well, at first they said, we're going to give you like $300, $500 for your old Mac. I was like, okay, hey, I'll take that. Sounds really good. So they, I signed an agreement. I shipped it out. They gave me a box to ship it in. I shipped it out in the box they gave me. Or I actually used the box for my other Mac that I bought, the one I just hope I didn't ruin. And, yeah, they said, oh, well, we can only give you $50 for it because it was all damaged when we got it. It was like, no, I packed it so perfectly, there should have been nothing wrong with it. And they said, well, we got it this way. They claimed they got it all banged up, which they did not. They actually banged it up. So that being said, it was like, I said, well, listen, I got pictures. I sent them the pictures. This is what I sent you before I box up. This is exactly what I sent you. And they got caught with their pants down, so to speak. So they actually sent me a checkout, and they said, well, just ship back the computer we sent you. They literally banged it up. Like, they dented the top. They smashed in the side. Like, it looked like somebody got a sledgehammer and, like, literally destroyed it. And it was obviously on spite because they didn't want to pay me the money. So I'm looking at some Mac Pros right now. Just in case. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but if it is, I want to make sure I can be able to buy something else. But yeah, they got caught, and they gave me the money they promised me initially. So I was like, okay, hey, this is great. So that's part of my debt too, because I upgraded my computer, and then the RAM was a couple $100, like $300-$400. For the let's see what I have in here right now about this Mac. Again, I'm just praying. I don't think the damage was permanent. I think it just letting it dry out was good. I'm running a Mac Pro mid-2010. Processor speed is 3.33 gigahertz. And again, it's a 6-core processor with hyper-thread internal on, so it actually acts as though it's running 12 cores. Memory in my computer is 32 gigs of RAM. That's DDR3. And it basically, the startup disk I have it in here, which did get a little wet, that's what I was really worried about, is a hybrid hard drive. It's not a solid state one because they're really expensive, but it's a hybrid. It probably would have paid for me to have a solid state because all you have to do is blot it dry if it did get wet. But knock on wood, moving drives, I think the fans actually protected it from getting completely demolished. And I'm running what's called, I have had this card for years. It cost me initially like $750, a video card. And I've used it ever since in like 2 different computers. It's a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 770 with 2 gigs of RAM. So, but I bought this years ago. And you can't buy, it's very hard, difficult to buy video cards that work in your Macs. Because simply they don't make them. So that's always a downer, though. That's a down note. So I don't want to have to buy another system because, again, I got a really good deal on this one. I got it for like, I think $1,100 or $1,200, and I basically gutted out certain things I didn't want. I took the hard drive that they gave me because I don't trust other people's hard drives. I put my old hard drives in, all of them. I had 4 hard drives. I now have 3. And it's been running rock solid, this computer, otherwise. So anyway, oh wait, I shouldn't do this. Yeah, so I'm just, the bottom line was, I made the joke, it was like, oh yeah, because it was like I basically waterboarded my computer, and unintentionally too, but I basically spilled, not just a little water, I spilled a lot of water, the whole floor, the carpet, underneath my desk, the whole thing was saturated. I mean, it was like I bought this because I have a problem of spilling things, and I don't do it intentionally, but I just have a tendency to spill things a lot, way too much, and I damaged a lot of things, mainly my carpets, which carpets I can deal with. So, yeah. So, what was I going to say? I thought like, okay, this is a done deal. I'm going to be out of a computer now, because there was water inside the case, my computer case, the Mac Pro, the tower case. So I was like, okay, I am beyond screwed. I'm going to have no computer once again. And this is just after I got all my bills caught up, and the one friend bought the computer at work for me. A work friend, he gave me $200. I got my parents caught up on any money I owe them. Whole 9 yards. It's like great. Everything is running perfectly smooth, and now I ruined my computer. So I was really upset. So I'm not even joking, folks. I tilted the computer, put it on its side, and I let the water drain out. That's how bad it was. And then I opened it up, and the logic board, there's like a motherboard and a logic board. The logic board actually has your processor on there. I have a single chip, 6-core processor, Intel processor, and I was like petrified. I was like, if that logic board's fucked, the logic board alone is worth probably like $2,000 by itself. So it's not cheap to replace. So that did not make me happy. The logic board, the motherboard, the graphics card is $750. The RAM was about $400. I mean, that's a lot of freaking money. And if any of that stuff got ruined, I would have been totally, totally screwed. So anyway, I basically blotted dry. I got like a towel, bath towel, and I dried it all out. Then I have this thing like it's an electric blower, so you don't have to get those compressed cans of air to blow all the dust out of your electronics. And I used that, and I used it on the keyboard that I got the extended warranty on, because these keyboards are like $60, the Apple keyboards. And this time I bought a 3-year warranty because I know I'm going to eventually spill soda or water on there. And lo and behold, I tipped it to the side, even the keyboard, and I used this electric blower on there. You use it for electronics, and the water was just gushing out. I was like, crap. So I tried all the keys yesterday, and they worked. Knock on wood. Now, I do got that extended warranty, but the water also got on my amp for my, that I do my podcast, or that amp I use, this Scarlett 2-in-2 thing. That was $200 unit. That got water on there somehow. The monitor I have, my computer monitor, it's an Apple computer monitor. I don't even know the size of it. I got to look now. About this Mac again. Cost me, I bought it at Micro Center, but I wanted the best display you can get. It's a 27-inch, and it's still one of the best monitors. An Apple LED Cinema display. The resolution is 2560 by 1440. That is actually very close, and I had this for like 2 years now. That is close to being 4K before 4K came out. So it is the sharpest monitor you're going to be able to buy as the Apple monitor. That cost me $1,000. That got saturated with water. So like I said, I waterboarded all my electronics yesterday. So I had this carpet abstractor I bought from Walmart a couple years ago. Best investment I made. It cost me like $100, $130. I've used that so many times, I think I'm going to have to end up buying a new carpet abstractor eventually. It's a Hoover one, because I basically probably going to wear it out eventually. Hoover stuff lasts forever, though, in my opinion. So I sucked out like about a gallon of water out of the carpet alone. That's not even including what was in my electronic stuff. So I tipped over the computer, let the water drain out. I blotted it dry, and then I used a blower to blow it out of the fans, the water that might have been stuck in there. I pulled out my one hard drive, my main one where everything's on. That hard drive had water on there. It was like, oh my God, this is not really good. And I tried to turn it off real quick, the computer, when it got all wet. It was like, crap, this time it actually went. My computer, actually, the Apple, the people are familiar, it used to be called the cheese grater one, which are still the best ones I think they have ever made, are the cheese grater ones. Because it looks like a cheese grater on the front, the screen on the front of the computer case. The water went right through. The fans, I think, by running, kind of pushed back, even though it might have sucked in. but it kind of stopped too much water from actually going through, I guess, the blades, even though the blades were blowing air into and then out of the back of the case. That's the way they work. But it did stop a little bit of the water also going directly onto the components, even though it did get some. So I was kind of almost safe. I just checked as I'm running 2 Blu-ray players, and those looked fine because those were pretty expensive. One's a regular Blu-ray player in my machine. The other one's a Blu-ray burner. So I opened up the tray on the one at least, and it looked fine. It looks like there was nothing wrong with it. The other one, I was having issues with the door. There's like a door in front of the Blu-ray burner or the other one, and it doesn't open properly, which I don't even give a shit. I don't even really use it anyway. But as long as there's no water trapped inside the machine still, I'm fine. I actually ran, a floor fan on my computer all day and on the carpet. But I did abstract my carpet last night. I pulled a lot of dust out, too, out around the computer, like big dust monsters. They weren't even dust bunnies. They were dust snakes. They were, like, really big. And I dust my room all the time. That's what I don't understand. But that stuff could have got totally destroyed. I mean, I was shitting bricks. My mother was up, and she was saying, well, what's going on? How'd you get so much water on the floor? It's like, you don't even want to know, for one thing. Two, I said I got about $2,000 worth, at least $2,000 worth of damage that I'm looking at right now, just from spilling water on these components. No, I haven't learned my lesson, though. I still eat and drink in my room all the time. So, like I might have mentioned, I mentioned my mom to two friends, on phone conversations, one-way conversations, me leaving voicemails and them not getting back to me. That, hey, God must be with me. Somehow God must be with me because the stuff is still working. Knock on wood. I got a wooden desk, though, from my KSM. You maybe it'll hear of it. I'm going to move my mic so I can do it. That's me knocking on my wooden desk. So knock on wood, the computer still works. So I was like, thank you, Lord Jesus, that it didn't get ruined. Because I was really, really scared. Now, what I'm doing right now, my podcast is on a separate computer, which I do have insurance on that. I think it cost me about $200 or $200 for my HP laptop, which I do all my podcasts on. So I do have other computers, but my main computer where I do all my goofy shit, looking for stories, playing certain video games, web browsing, video editing, when I do video editing, because this is what I got upgraded this computer for, because I use, let's see what it's called, Final Cut Pro. When I do video editing, I use Final Cut Pro. I need this computer to work, that it's not going to crash. So I was literally shitting bricks. I haven't done anything in the past year. I have not done any video editing. I've been doing more podcasting. It's simple because I can do it every day, and I've been doing more. At this point, I surpassed my podcast on what I used to do on production work. Video production work is really fun, but it's much more time-consuming. And believe it or not, it's a lot more expensive, too. Because you want a decent camera, you're talking anywhere, a really good digital camera to do video editing on, shoot video on. You're going to be talking between, for a cheap one, about $5,000, and for a decent one, $10,000. Now you're saying, well, I can buy a video camera for cheaper now. Yeah, you can. You can buy one for $50. But if you want one that actually shoots really good quality video, you're talking about $5,000 or $10,000. Now I bought one for about under $2,000. It was used. It was beat to shit. And I bought it because it also used tapes still, because a lot of these new video cameras do not use tapes. They use, which is more expensive, but they use, the tapes are, but they use flash drives. Now, flash drives are great, but you want the real thing. That's one thing I'll still keep. I'm very old-fashioned on, because that's what I started on when I got trained or learned in college, was actually using videotapes that you put in, little tapes. They were called high 8 tapes at the time. I don't think they're around anymore. Now, the ones I use now are basically DAT tapes. They're digital audio. Well, they're not digital audio tapes, but they are digital tapes. They're the same size as the DAT tapes I used to use in college years ago. Because we used to have this machine called a toaster. And This toaster actually used what was called DAT tapes. They were like really tiny little tapes that would basically take all the data that you would record and compress it down onto this, this machine called a toaster. It really was. It was actually by the same company who made Commodore, I think. And they would compress it. It would take hours to do it, but it would compress everything down to this little DAT tape that would fit, like it's the size of two of your fingers together, and not even that big. So my new machine actually uses tapes that size. They're literally like the size of what we used to call DAT tapes. So they got all saturated almost a little bit last night. So I threw those. I dried them out, threw them in the bucket. I never use the same tape twice. Like if I record video on a tape, I make sure to buy brand new tapes, and I make sure I get the high quality tapes because there's a difference. You can buy standard DAT tapes. I call them DAT. Data tapes for your camera, but you're best buying fresh ones and buying the high quality ones because there is a difference on what you're recording too. Trust me. But I have an HD 1080i video camera. I think I got it used for $1,200, but brand new would have cost like $3,000 or something like that, or at least $2,000. So, and it actually worked. I had to replace certain things on there on the camera, but it works really well. I haven't used that in ages. I actually got all the equipment for that, stands and, I had to buy a mic for that camera because it has like a mic that uses XLR, it's called. I got a, foam cover for that, the whole 9 yards. So anyway, but again, it's just, you have to storyboard, you have to do a treatment plan. You don't have to, but it makes it easier. A treatment plan, basically treatment is what you want your finished product to look and sound like. You write it all down, descriptive. It's like writing a story. Then you got to do your storyboards, your scripting, even for things you may not be saying anything in, you still got to write something out that looks like a script, because what you're writing on there is what kind of shot you want to set up, like a close-up shot, a long shot, a vista shot. You got to put down also what direction you want the camera to point, probably, besides what size, what you want your subjects to do, if there's a subject in the matter. You got to write that stuff out in a script form. Even though there may not be anybody speaking, you got to write it all out if you want to make it easy for you. Now, the storyboards are an excellent idea, because when you storyboard, by the way, what you're basically doing is it makes it easier when you go in to actually set up a video shot. Like, okay, I want to shoot this subject, meaning a person, talking to another person next to a bench, next to a tree, or something like that. But if I storyboard it out, how I want it to look, I can go in there, look at that storyboard picture. It could even be stick figures and say, okay, I want you here, I want this here, I want you here. By just looking at the picture, because the picture, you're just matching up the picture to what you're going to actually eventually put on video. So it's really fun to do, and I haven't done it in ages, and it's very time consuming. Like, you look at my stuff, you won't believe that even my shittiest videos that I've done, which is pretty much all of them, that stuff actually had a storyboard, and it was laid out, and it actually had a script. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. Now, there was a video my friend did years ago, my friend Matt, and he had me act in it. It was called Strange World, which I put up, and because I thought it was really good. He said he did not use any type of script or storyboard or anything like that. I was like, dude, I like what you did, though. You actually put it together very well. So, but it didn't follow any linear pattern like I tried to. I really do. It doesn't look like I do, but I really do try to fill things out and then shoot it later on. So just to let you know. I'm hearing some background noise, so I'm going to try to go through some stories real quick. But yeah, again, thank you, God. My computer did not get ruined. Everything, knock on wood, seems to be working good. So I just banged on my table again. I put some interesting stuff up. I really don't have much more to talk about because I just did a show last night, so I don't have much. But I got some funny things. I always find a lot of funny things, a lot of Friday 13th stuff. One was a T-shirt you can buy. It says Crystal Lake with Jason Voorhees in the boat from the original movie. It's like a drawn shirt. You can buy it. at twonder.com Friday the 13th, and it's Jason Voorhees using his machete as a rower, and it says boat tours since I think it says 1935. Yep, it does, 1935. Let me see if it's still selling them. And he has the hockey mask on. It's a Hanes Tangled t-shirt, Hanes t-shirt. You can buy it, black. You can buy other colors too, and it's like $22, limited edition. So there's some really cool stuff. I find the most interesting things on online that you can buy. I know it gets expensive that way too, and I buy some of it, not all of it. Somebody I borrowed from this or shared from this woman, Shelly Sprenzo or something. She put up some video. It was really funny. I don't know where she got it from. Maybe it was one she shot herself. But it's these in a high school. It's Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger dancing to like some music in the background in this high school gym, and it's really funny. So I have that up. Some hot pictures and some chicks, like I always do. I get them from Willow. I love Willow's link. Actually, this one was in Willow. Well, no. TAT, what is that? TAT2-willowandme.me. But usually this Willow Rain puts up like the most hottest pictures. She's really cool, too. She's got a lot of tattoos. She's a cute girl. There was something, I guess, for the WizardCon down in Philly, which I don't think I'm going to this year. I just can't afford it, bottom line. Wizard World Music. Wizard World Philly fans, are you ready for Grimm's? We're proud to announce a new music concert series featuring big headlines and great music venues around the country. Check it out. Incredible lineup, and get tickets now. So they're really pushing this year. They started doing that. They do on the side from the WizardCon, they have like these musicians that are not known, but they have this chick on this, probably some gothic band that's on the picture. And that's going to be at the WizardCon down in Philadelphia. Again, I don't think I'm going this year. My friend Todd said he's not going to go. So anyway, I'm sorry, but I did steal something from somebody else and shared from Total Craps video. I thought, somebody made a link of these exploitation films, and this one looks like it's a ripoff of Rambo, the movie Rambo with Sylvester Stallone, but the link's called Total Crap. I mean, it's one of literally, it's an exploitation film, and this guy's trying to be like Rambo, and it's so cheesy looking. I'm like laughing watching it. That's the whole purpose of this person put it up. And it does say underneath, it says this is one of the 5 Rambo Turks. So it's like from Turkey. I think it's going to put you in a good mood. It is really funny. The guy's like doing the Rambo thing of shooting off like these hand grenade, or what do you call it? Those missile things, a hand missile gun or whatever you call it. Like those rocket things. And when he shoots them off, you can see the string attached to it. Like literally, I'm looking at it right now. You can see the strings attached. And I mean, some of the stuff, there's ones that are exploitation films from India, and those are fucking hilarious too. Like somebody puts those up sometimes. But this one is like takes the cake. It's really classic, so I just had to mention that. I did put up some, I don't see girls that look this incredibly hot, but there's one, somebody put up a picture. So it's from Angela and Dematico Vargas or something, and I don't know if it's her, but this girl's at a pinball machine at one of these comic conventions. They have a pinball machine there, believe it or not. She's dressed up like a vampire, but she's like literally only got on her breasts are barely covered. She's got fangs in her mouth. She's dressed up to be a vampire. Really hot, really long, dark brown hair. It goes all the way down, like past her hey nanny nanny, and she's on this pinball machine, but she's got like a thong on, and I mean, just as at one of these comic conventions, and she's like really, really hot. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's like spank material. So how else can I put it? So I put that up. Some older MILF mom. She literally calls herself Buff Mom, though. She is really buff. Who loves wearing not really slinky bikinis and stuff, and taking videos of herself. She shoots them herself. You can tell she does. but she's called Buff Mom. I put that up. I'm just trying to give you an idea what you can see on my Facebook page. Somebody who it says, I guess, the costume worn in the new Captain America Civil War got some pictures of that. Some movie, it was really quirky. I think it was a John Carpenter film called They Live. Now, that film was really, got really bad press. It was pretty bad, too. But the whole premise of that film was the underlying statement. The film actually was a political film, so to speak, where these people or creatures or aliens, basically they were skeletons, but you had to wear these special glasses to see who they really looked like. But it was like a whole conspiracy / political theory movie almost. It was really good, but it was just shot so poorly, I guess. So, but I would, recommend that too. Oh, I had some video I put up. It says live leak. It's a seriously sick video, and I don't like these rides you go on. And this is for real. This is not made up. I'm looking at it right now. This is why you don't take fair rides. There's a person at a fair where it swings around, around, and they strap you in. And I swear to God, somebody literally, when it swung around, they fell out and they basically became, what do you call it? I don't know where this happened, but they became pavement dirt or whatever. They basically got splattered. They fell out of one of these rides that spin around, upside down. They go around in the circle. They fell out and they literally got splattered. Like there's blood all over the place. And it's like, dude, that's why I don't like those things. So I have that video, but it says actually warning, a graphic video. This video contains graphic contents that can shock, offend, or upset you. Are you sure you want to see this? So I put that up. I actually put up some really disturbing stories. I don't see them right now, by the way. But it was I don't know what it is about people and their fascination, these guys that are raping and abusing these people, not even just guys, but people in general, abusing their dogs, their animal, pets, their dogs, like pit bulls and some other different dogs. But there was something that was so hideous, I think I did not post it because it really upset me. Well, this dog was literally, it was a dog. It wasn't a pit bull. It was another type of dog that was literally, I think they were able to bring it back to health, I think, was all skin and bones. It literally looked like from those movies in that game called, video game, Resident Evil, with the dogs that are half, basically, their ribs are hanging out and stuff. Well, there was a dog that looked just like that. Like the rib cage was all skin and just rib cage, this dog. So the dog was starved to death. And I'm looking at this for real, and I guess the SPCA or somebody had taken the dog in and was able to get the dog back to health. But I was like, I'm not a dog lover, but that's really just awful. That was plain god awful. And I've seen some other ones where this guy did similar thing. This guy was raping and starving his dog to death, but he was raping the dog too. And it's it's a dog, though. I don't understand people. So I didn't put those up because they were just too much for me. They were too disturbing. Anyway, I did post up. Kevin Smith actually posted. So I had taken it from him on his Facebook page. Holidays is now available in iTunes. It's some short films where I'm gonna actually have to rent that now. I didn't realize I can rent this, but I don't like renting things on iTunes. But it is called Holidays, and it says actors credited: Kevin Smith, Seth Green, Jocelyn Donahue, Lavina, I can't pronounce those last ones, Michael or Michelle Sun Lee, directors Kevin Smith, Anthony Scott, Burns, Nicholas McCarthy, Gary Shore, Adam Egypt. Yeah, I can't pronounce these other ones. Anyway, it's short films. View in iTunes, $15.99. It's basically a little thing of horror shorts, which Kevin Smith did one of them. So he's really into that horror thing too. And I mean, his horror is, I'm sorry, but it's horror. It's not comedy horror. It's horror. So I might just have to get that because, I'm going to definitely have to get that. I just wish it wasn't, I could get it elsewhere besides iTunes. I'm not a big iTunes fan anymore because it does not work right for me. I mean, Supergirl always does. But I'm going to see if I can get it on Amazon. I prefer to buy it from Amazon. Let's see. It might be, knowing him, he probably made it an exclusive. No, I put film. Yeah, I don't even know if it has a date. I might end up buying it. I'd rather rent it because I don't think I need to own it. Oh, excuse me. I can't find it, though. Yeah, but it's called Holidays. I didn't realize that. See, I find things on my page I don't even know I have. I'll put Kevin Smith's name in. That man keeps himself extremely busy. Oh, here it is. Wow, I can rent it, though. Didn't get that great of a rating. So they do have it on Amazon Prime because I can watch on my PlayStation, which is much more powerful. So it's to rent it. It's like $7 to buy it on Amazon. It's more expensive. It's like $20, which is for a shitty film. So I'm gonna add it to my watch list. I'd rather just rent it for $7 than buy it for $15 and just be, pissed off about get it. But it says starring Kevin Smith and Seth Green, hour and 44 minutes. So it's like a 2-hour film, but with shorts in there, little video shorts and something. It's not worth buying. I got so many films already. I don't need that one. But it's by XYZ Films is literally what it says. So anyway, I'll give you a heads up. Yeah, it's called Holidays. I didn't see that. I put it up and I didn't even notice. I'm glad I did put it up now because I just put it up because I saw that it said it was shorts. And I like those. Those little short things. And fortunately, on iTunes, you have to buy it. You can't rent it. Which I really... Oh, wait, you can rent it for $7. Or you can buy it for $16. But it's probably not worth it because, again, it didn't get that great of reviews. It says... I'll read the little caption. It says, from the twisted minds of the director, such as films as Dracula, Untold, Dark Skies, Tusk, which would be Kevin Smith, and The Pack, comes a chilling feature which puts a terrifying twist on some of the most globally recognized holidays such as Christmas, New Year's Eve, and Mother's Day, and Halloween. So I put the "and" in there too quickly. So maybe for the $7, it might be worth renting. Once in a while I do rent movies, so I don't mind doing that. I hate buying them, and just more of a dust collector, or even just a space taker. If you basically download things. Or buy videos for online. Like I bought both Doctor Who films that they're stored on Apple's website, which I don't mind doing, but even that takes I never look at them. Then I did look at the Doctor Who's. I like those, the ones with Peter Cushing, by the way. Anyway, this is pretty interesting. It didn't make sense to me, but it's from comicbook.com yesterday at 5 o'clock. It says 5 p.m. Chris Rock thinks that J.J. Abrams could save the Fantastic Four. Do you agree or disagree? Chris Rock wants J.J. Abrams to direct the next Fantastic Four. I honestly did not think that Fantastic Four that everybody was bitching and complaining about was not that bad. I'm one of the only people I know that actually really liked it. I'm not even kidding. Because I ended up buying the steel box for it. I bought it for on sale, and it was on sale for $10. Maybe it was 20. I don't know. I think it was 10. But I really liked it, though. I don't know why people are so hard on it. And I hate to tell you, they were pissed off because they made Johnny Cage or something like that? They made him a black guy. And it's like, who gives a fuck? The movie was really good. I liked it. I liked what they did with the film. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I was a little leery, they changed the character's premise a little bit at first, but I was like, dude, it's a good film. I'm not kidding. And everybody I talk to don't like the fact that they changed the character. So I never read the comic book, so it doesn't mean anything to me. Anyway, I put this picture up, and it's really kind of grotesquely funny. But it says, and it's a body bag, a plastic bag. Not a body bag, it's a black zipper-up bag. It's a white, trash-looking bag. And it's got a body all smushed up in, looks like a bunch of mess. But you can tell it's a hand and a foot and it says, "You come home to find this on your porch, what would you do?" And it's like kind of funny. So I didn't know how to answer that. There was something, I thought it looked like something from, it's from the Daily UK Mail, but it looks like something, this is how bad the Daily UK Mail has gotten now, by the way. It's gotten like the National Enquirer, the trash magazine. Terrified couple draw sketch of a panther spotted in England. Well, this panther looked like a werewolf. I'm not even kidding. The name's kind of funny. It's Robert Ingram, not England, but Robert Ingram, and his wife Nicola, pictured have drawn a black panther with a white visual interpretation of an animal they saw while driving through Chrome Court, whatever. Sorry, I'm moving away from it. But they made the panther look like it was half man, half animal. Like a werewolf. So it's like, you got to be, you're kidding, right? You're not being serious about this. When, unfortunately, I think they kind of were. So I'm not going to read that story. It's just kind of ridiculous. So I had that. I posted up because this is really cool. They took and made a GIF out of every single Friday the 13th. I think there's 12 of them right now. Jason X was 10, and I think maybe there's 11, actually. I think there's 11 Friday the 13th movies. So they took all the screenshots of all the films, all the posters, whatever, and they made it into a GIF. Meaning it rolls through all of them. So that's on my Facebook page. Then I have this thing that I stole from somebody, Jeff Bean Green. And it's the way you say it. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Bela Lugosi, The Devil Bat. Also, Gallant Sons with Jackie C. Cooper. It's basically a poster of, Bela Lugosi. I used to like that song called Bela Lugosi's Dead. So anyway, it was that, and here's a GIF for some movie, which it was a real movie. I didn't put the whole link in, so I can't tell you the name of the movie. Somebody actually posted it. One of these cheesy movies that look like a claymation dinosaur that flies, whatever, grabbing a guy out of a swimming pool. It looks like one of these bad 70s films. Couldn't tell you the name because I did something really stupid. Like, I put up the GIF, and somebody underneath for that put up the name of the film, and I forgot to, unfortunately, mark the name of the film, so I have no freaking clue what the name of it is at this point. So, I got something from, I haven't seen that in a while. Somebody posted something about Depeche Mode. I have a Depeche Mode fan group web link on Facebook. And, yeah, because I love Depeche Mode. That was the first band I've ever went to go see. Did I mention this already? Maybe not. I mentioned it maybe to a friend. I don't know if I mentioned it a lot. But, yeah, I think I did at the beginning of the show. I think it's a young girl. I can't tell. Maybe it's like a really young girl. It's just a boy. But it looks like a young girl. You can't tell because you don't see her face. You just see long blonde hair hanging down. And she's got, if it is a she, so I apologize if it's a kid, a boy, just trying to pretend to be a girl, put two, literally fried eggs on top of their chest. They have no chest. So I think it was really funny. I did mention this before, I think, too, but I posted on my Facebook page now the picture of the cat that they made, the iMac back in the day that would look like a TV set. They made it into a cat box for the cat to sleep in. I also put up, because this actually fits me, my personality, a picture of, because I texted to a friend, so I got to look what his name was now. Eli Roth, and he's got this goofy look on his face. I love the Eli Roth. That man is incredible. He makes reality horror films. I've said this in the past. He makes films that are like horror films that are really grotesque, really gory, but based upon what could really happen that are in real life. So they have him with a really weird look on his face, and it looks like he's holding a saw blade, one of those hand saw blades. And it says, "I refuse to become what you call normal," in all caps. I think it's funny. So that's me, though. I refuse to become what people call normal. So anyway, it was another one of these tabloid stories, I guess, from Daily Mail I had. I'm going to go down on my stories now. Going down on them, yo. I'm not going down on them for a BJ. I'm just going down on them. So it says family released picture of British woman found dead in Israel in bid for the truth. Looks like she was like severely beaten up too. Like she's laying in a picture before and after. The after picture, she's laying in a coffin. She's all black and blue. So she looked like she was severely beaten. So I don't know what the story was about, but you can find that. That was just like posted today on the Daily Mail. So anyway, there was a story. This looks really hideous too. Lady warns about dangerous ordinary habits that cause a hole in her face. The Willow Way. It says willowway.tv. She's got literally on the side of her nostril. This girl, she is cute. She's literally got like a round hole going through. Now, my guess is sometimes these people put those nose piercings in and everything, and you got to be really careful about that. But she's literally got a circular big hole the size of, I would say, about a dime on the size of her nose now. Let's see what it says, because I think this is the picture before the actual hole goes through. There's not much pressure to be tanned. Everyone wanted to be bronze. Jade explains, according to the Daily Mail, even though this is a different link, it is unattractive to be pale while you live in Nashville. So let's see. Now, because in 2014, this woman's name is Jade. She grew concerned over the clear spot her father had noticed on her nose when it began to burst and refused to heal at some point. So basically, she went to a tannin thing. She knew that she needed to get a biopsy done to ensure it wasn't skin cancer. Unfortunately, that's exactly what it was. So I've heard about these tannin salons. You got to be really careful. So it says next, and it shows the pictures. This girl has, again, the size of a dime on her nostril is a hole that goes completely through her nose now, all the way through the flesh, too. She was transferred to a Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville to consult with specialists. When the day surgery came, surgeons had to cut out. Now, I didn't know this. I really didn't, but it says had to cut out a dime-sized hole out of her right nostril in her nose. So I got that absolutely correct. That was a lucky guess. As a result, from her tannin habit, they replaced the skin with flesh taken off her chest, where she now has a 6-inch long scar. So, I mean, what do they do? Take breast tissue or something? I don't know. And they show how they were able to remove the hole. Oh, okay. Now, actually, it's like on top near her clavicle. They took out a piece of skin near her clavicle because they said her chest. I mean, it was above her chest line. She does have a scar like right next to her clavicle. I'm not kidding. But her nose actually does not look that bad. So she's a very lucky young lady. So at least I guess it ends not too bad, to say the least. Looking at some story. I actually really like her too. That she has her own talk show. It's from Time Magazine. Yep, I'm gay. I'm trying to look who it is because I can't remember her name. She's really, really funny though. God, what is her name though? Celebrities who came out of the closet. Well, why don't you give her name? I can't remember her name. She's the woman with the blonde hair, kind of short. She has her own talk show. She's fucking hilarious. I'm sorry, I don't know her name, but I've called a couple of shows and they're really, really funny. She's a talk show host, but she's gay. Can't remember her name. She's really, really good too. She's really funny. Oh, there's something funny I sent to a friend. I stole it from somebody's, Chris Cherry's webpage. And it's like a cartoon of a guy. I think they're taking this from Silence of the Lambs with Billy, whatever you call that guy that was a transgender or transsexual, whatever you call it. He didn't have no operations done. He wanted to. You know, in the Silence of the Lambs. So there's this cartoon of a little fat guy, though, with blonde hair and a cook's hat on, and he's tucking his package away, and he's looking in the mirror. It's a cartoon, though. and he's holding up like these 2 pastries on his chest. It looks like the little doughboy with long hair, though. And it says a caption on the cartoon. It says, "I'd fuck me." But I think they were trying to take that from that. I can't remember. Let me see if I have any. I got some hot chick pictures, too, because people already commented on that. I have a picture of Bela Lugosi. Oh, there was this road sign, by the way, too. And it's called, this is a real road sign. It's not even fake. Wiener Cutoff Road. So I found that from Chris Terry from Horror, Blood, Gore, and More 2.com on Facebook. And yeah, it's literally a name of a real road sign. It's not fake. So I'm going to go back to that, find out what that movie, that character I'm trying to talk about from Silence of the Lambs. Let me see if I can figure it out. I'll put Silence of the Lamb villain. Buffalo Bill. Okay, I couldn't remember. Some guy actually dressed as Buffalo Bill at a comic convention. It was like, dude, you look kind of weird. I didn't realize who it was, and he mentioned, I think it was last year, actually, at one in Philly. I also got some really, really, really bizarre GIF. And you have to look like more than once. It's kind of a little bit inappropriate, but there's this girl washing herself off in the shower. You can see through it's a glass door, and she's bathing herself down. She's totally nude. She's got big breasts. Now get this, though. You didn't hear the best part. Blonde-haired girl. She is washing herself down, but her head and her breasts are pointed towards you. Her arms and her ass are pointed away from you, and she's, it's all one GIF. It's not like, so it's like one of those optical illusions. You got to look at it, and you can't figure out what the fuck's going on with the picture, but it is definitely bizarre. Anyway, they just added some stuff to moviepilot.com. His name's Jason Statham or something. He's that Australian guy who plays in, I think the Transfer movies. So his movie's called Transfers 1, Transfers 2, whatever. I think it's called Transfers. He also plays in, the film of all the tough guys, but great. People keep on, I have to mention that too. He's going to be, and he's been picked for the main character, which is not really a good sign, I'll tell you that much, because he's a great actor, but I can just see it right now. They're just basically saying, hey, listen, this film's going to go right to video. He's going to play in that upcoming movie called Meg, about the Megalodon. So, I'll go back to that. I know his first name's Jason now. He's Australian. So anyway, I'm looking at this. I'm like looking at some new email I got, and this really pisses me off. But I think the one friend, they used to do this years ago. This one friend I work with, him and my old boss from years ago. But when they really didn't like somebody, they used to fuck with people. And you're talking back in the 80s or 90s or something. So the way you would fuck with somebody, though, is they said they would do this too. Back in the day, this is when I worked at a place like WHYY Store of Knowledge and some other places with this guy. And he said, yeah, we would just to fuck with people. We would get subscriptions to Playboy, to guys. They'd get them Playgirl, which is the women's equivalent to Playboy. It's nude guys instead of nude women, and get other magazine issues and get them sent to the person's house. They get these subscriptions that they end up having to pay for then after a while. And they would do it just to be a smart ass. And it's like, dude, that's funny, but, these people get billed for this stuff after a while. So I'm not getting billed for this stuff, but I'm having the same thing where I get all this freaking spam mail that I can't get rid of. It's actually taken over now my internet, that it explodes. My email, I get all this junk mail. And I know it's the same person's because I constantly get this one because I mentioned them about my mom having to wear protection because she pisses herself all the time. She's older. She's almost pushing 80. So, she has these laughing spells where she laughs so hard she starts pissing herself. And, so she has to wear protection. Most women do, it seems like nowadays. They have a problem with that, bladder control problem. So he sends me, I know it's him. He'll deny it to the bitter end. But how come I get, like, a plethora of junk email that says, oh, you need to buy some adult diapers? And I mean, it's like, come on, this is ridiculous. Because now when you send that one junk mail to me, that also links it to other junk mail. Hey, this guy's taking junk mail. So literally in one day, I get over about 100 to 200 emails. 99% of them are all junk. So I even went to these links and say, please take me off your mailing list because I don't want to be on there because there's a link to say remove me from the mailing list. So I still get it, and I get sevenfold more, which I think what they're doing is they're continuing to just sign me up for all this stupid shit, which actually almost will flood my account on Verizon because I'll block it. I'll block it from my internet, from my mail when it gets downloaded, so it just gets automatically blocked or deleted. Eventually, these people will get the hint because they won't go through. But it doesn't matter because the server is going to still get those emails. And eventually I'm not going to get email that I really need to get because thanks for their little childish practical jokes, it's actually killing my internet now, my mailbox. It's flooding it, actually. So I just had to mention that, too. Expected this to be like a 50-minute show or 20-minute show. I know it's going to be like 5 hours. Anyway, I have to use this one picture. I think it's really hot. I hope I don't get in trouble for using it. This chick's holding a butcher knife, like the one Michael Myers uses in one hand. She's got ponytails. They don't show her face, and she's holding her hand over her boobie on the other one, and it was from Tyrone Terrell, Horror, Gore, and Movies.com. That one looks really hot. I actually wouldn't mind using that picture. It's really hot looking. It might actually do so, too. Putting it over. Whoop. Also, I don't even know what I'm going to use tonight. This was really funny. Somebody put it up. I took it from Wanda Carr's photos. I shared it on my page. It's a picture of sperm with the Jason Voorhees mask on the top of the sperm head. And it says, an old pic of Jason Voorhees after he killed the other sperm. No puns intended. And it says camp, parentheses, blood, Crystal Lake. I think it's really, really funny. I almost want to use that one. I want to use the one with the boobie, though. The girl with the boobie. There's a place that Matt had told me about years ago. They put up some pictures just yesterday in Ocean City, New Jersey. The place is really fun to go to called Chatterbox. My friend Matt told me about it. It is really good. People are very friendly in there, too. But they put up a bunch of pictures just yesterday on their web link. So you can check those out. They actually have an outdoor patio, which they didn't have before. Chatterbox, so you can eat outside and watch people walk by like I do. I remember I mentioned her before. Now I got her name. The chick that played in this movie called Demons, this black chick, she is like ultra, ultra hot. She's really hot now, too. Because let me see what year Demons come out, just to give you an idea. And, that was this chick. Her name's Greta. She was spank material for me for a long time. I'll tell you that much. She's super hot. I'm trying to figure out Demons. I got the movie here. I don't want the images. I want like information when the movie came out. It's an Italian film too. I bought the movie because I love that much. Okay, get this. The movie came out, release date, May 30th, 1986. So I don't know how old Greta is, but she played a prostitute. And again, the only reason I remotely wanted to watch Demons was because of this chick named Greta. She's a black girl who played, again, she played a prostitute. She's not in the list of people. And again, she looks hot today. Now, she says born in Portland, Oregon. That's pretty weird because one friend likes Portland. But I'm telling you, I'm not even making this up. She looks just as hot now as she did when she did this film back in 86. And, she was not old, but she wasn't she was like probably, I would say, at least in her 20s even back then. And that was back in 86, though. She was no teenager, but she's like super, super hot. So I got this picture of her. I added her. But her name's, again, Greta Rosemary Greta. She goes by Rosemary Greta. Super hot picture of her. And this is just like a recent picture. It's not old. She's really thin, too. She's got a micro black skirt on, micro pantyhose, and like a black, what do you call that? Spaghetti, spaghetti strap T-shirt. I'm getting like ready to jerk off just looking at the picture. And she's signing it. And like she does these horror conventions. I'd love to meet her, but she doesn't give her age. But yeah, she's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I just lose a load every time I look at her. Like, she's really, really hot. And she's, like, ultra thin, too. So, I don't know how old Greta is now, but it's weird. She's got, like, I'm not trying to, she got, like, the Diana Ross slash Michael Jackson does, because Michael Jackson liked Diana Ross. But, yeah, I just love her. And she's, like, super hot. I can't say enough about Greta. I'd love to meet that woman. I think I'd be the same boat I was when I met this one actress last year, from the show Angel, where I met her, and I actually told her she was really nice. The one girl I met down in Jersey. And I said, I'm first time I'm really nervous. Like, I was shaking like a leaf meeting her. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. She thought it was cute, but I was really embarrassed. I would be the same way with Greta. It's like, you know what? I hate to tell you, Greta, but you don't notice, but I've had you many of times in ways you don't want to even know. And it wasn't in back of a Volkswagen either. It's a joke from Mallrats. There's this thing in Mallrats. They say Ben Affleck actually is the character in the movie. He tries to act like a really tough guy, which he always does. He always gets the parts of being an asshole or a tough guy. That's why I was glad to see him in Batman, where he actually plays somebody that I could, really, really like. Besides Chase and Amy, he was really ultra cool in that. But in Mallrats, Mallrats, Ben Affleck plays this guy who's a real asshole. And he plays like a super big asshole who works at a department store, because it's called Mallrats. They work in a mall. And he goes to this one guy, I think this character's name is Brody, and he says, I'm going to make sure to get you in the most uncomfortable position, or something like that. I'm going to get you in the most uncomfortable spot. So, and the joke goes on throughout the movie of Mallrats, and I think it was Brody, and he says, what, like in the back of a Volkswagen? So the whole gist of the joke is the most uncomfortable spot to have sex in is in the back of a Volkswagen, because there's no room in a Volkswagen, the old ones. You got to remember when Mallrats came out to understand the joke. You can't go with that joke anymore because they don't have that problem with having small spaces. So the most uncomfortable spot to have sex in would be in the back of a Volkswagen. So it was a joke going on. So when I say that joke, I'm just trying to clarify where I'm getting it from. It's from the movie Mallrats, Kevin Smith's movie. So anyway, there was one last thing some people actually appreciated. I think I got this actually off of Greta's webpage, my woman. Now, that would be one woman I would have to, like, seriously, I'd love to make her my girlfriend. She is just incredibly hot. But Greta, Rosemary Greta, she is, like, beyond, like, I could just look at her and I'd be finished. I wouldn't even have to do anything. I wouldn't even have to put my hands anywhere. I just have to look at her and I'd be finished. I mean, I'm not even kidding. She's like my dream come true. Anyway, Greta put this up, I think, and it was a thing with a telephone hanging down. It's like a little goofy saying thing, and it says how we blocked people back in the 80s, and it's a standard push button phone with the phone being off the hook, like the hanging down, like you took the phone off the hook back in the old days when you wanted to ignore somebody. Now you don't do that. You just basically turn your phone off. Or you just turn it on silent. But back in the good old days, you would just take the phone off the hook. So there's one last thing that's really, it was from like this, I don't have the link. It says shared link. I must have just saved the picture. I wish I would have saved the link. It's from one of these links I got on Facebook for Grindhouse Sleaze movies. I like to know the name of the movie. It was another one. Unfortunately, I didn't save the name of the movie. I was stupid on this one, too. And my friend Todd liked this because this chick has like one of those really tight, really ultra tight little asses. And she's got short shorts on, like Daisy Dukes. But she's hanging over, it looks like. It's a GIF from a Grindhouse Sleaze House movie. Because there's a link I have that's actually named that. And she's leaning over. It's like an old 70s movie. She's leaning over. She has a very, very nice ass. And she's leaning over trying to grab something out of the back seat. And you just see her ass cheeks. And this guy looks like, again, looks like a 70s movie. He's like looking back. Like literally, he's leaning over to the passenger side seat, glaring at her ass. And it's just a GIF. And I forgot to actually link the name of the movie. So that really sucks. I should actually use that picture of Greta. Cause, oh my God, that's gonna be another one. I'm just gonna have to sign off really quick and just keep. I can keep the image in my head because I love her. I love Greta. That movie Demons was honestly, it was a really bad film, so to speak. But Greta, who played the prostitute, was my influence for watching this bad horror movie. That was kind of gory too. It was really gory too. It was an Italian film, which kind of reminds me because Greta is not Italian. She's I guess American then, or at least she was born in America. And it had like this movie Demons has those bad voiceovers, like really bad, like the Japanese films where the mouths don't quite match up quite right with what they're saying, because it was again, the film was shot in Italy. It's the same guy who I think did the film. Maybe I'm wrong. It's like the same genre as the same guy who did, or the director who did Zombie. I'm not going to look that up. Yeah, I was, but I'm not. I don't know who did that other film, who did Zombie, who did Demons. So anyway, it was funny. I was watching Sanguli last night. I didn't know this. I kind of gathered the fact that's what they do. But the Godzilla movies are shot in Taiwan or Tokyo, are actually reshot in the U.S. like under Universal Studios. So it was kind of funny because Sanguli last night said, yeah, we once did a thing on doing voiceovers on foreign languages. It was Sanguli, teaching a class on how to talk voiceover, where, he says, well, this is what you're supposed to do, where you just pretend you're talking, but then you delay what you say a minute later. And he did a whole fucking skit on that. And he says, yeah, some of these people actually had to go to learn how to make sure their voices did not match up with their lips. He was being sarcastic. So there was one part in when he was showing the movie Sangoli, like he alters parts of these really bad, campy films. And last night he said, yeah, well, when we come back to the film from commercial break, he came back from commercial break, he said, the next part, and it's like these guys in zipper suits, and a gorilla suit and the Godzilla suit, the lizard suit. And he says, when he comes back, King Kong's going to be surprised when he sees what he thought was the Paramount Mountain for Paramount Pictures. So he literally cuts that into the fucking film last night. I'm trying to keep from laughing because it was really funny. This 1963 bad movie, it was good at the time. It's still good. It's campy. Of Godzilla versus King Kong, which, by the way, I think they are going to do that. Like, the people who did that Godzilla movie, the last one, it did pretty well. So we got the rights. U.S. did get the rights again to make another Godzilla film. And people are hoping that Godzilla would be fighting, real monsters, the ones like Mothra and stuff, like the real villains for Godzilla. So apparently they are going to do, I think, I could be wrong, but I think by the year 2020 or before that, they are going to make a Godzilla versus King Kong film. I think they are. Don't quote me on it. So anyway, we're watching this film last night, and he cuts into the film, the 1963 film. He cuts this part where this guy in his costume has this goofy look on his face, which basically is probably a puppet head on the guy for King Kong. And he looks over at this mountain, and he pauses the picture, Sanguli, from the film. He pauses his picture, and he puts the Paramount emblem on top of this mountain that does look like the Paramount Mountain. And I'm like looking at this, like, is this really part of the film? I was like, wait a minute, this guy's fucking goofing on this film, just like that Mystery Science 3000 did. So, I mean, a lot of people love Singoli because if you like Mystery Science 3000, you will like this. Because my friend Matt said his dad actually watches Singoli on Saturday nights. He is really funny. But some of the films he deliberately gets, like, really bad, campy films. But he does get films I've never even heard of before, like, one was a 1970s film. I can't remember the name of it. My dad was a werewolf. And I was like, I never heard of this fucking film. He's had other films I've never heard of that Singoli, like, finds. I actually try to rent them or find them to download. You can't find some of the films that he actually digs up. No puns intended, folks. Anyway, I'm, like, really hyped up on caffeine right now. I got to make sure to turn on some lights and unlock the doors. My parents went out to get some to eat. And if I don't do that, they're going to start banging on the doors or ringing the doorbells. So I hope you enjoy what I did. I didn't want to be this long. My whole purpose was, thank you, Lord Jesus, for not, knock on wood, you saved my computer. You made me a true believer. I did not see your face, your image on a piece of bread, but I obviously seen your image on my computer because you saved me. Knock on wood, I hope you did, but you saved me like $3,000 worth of damage. So thank you, Lord Jesus. And everyone, have a good evening. Now it is like going on 8 o'clock. This is Walter from iWalter. He is signing off so he can, masturbate a little bit later on. But I am signing off for now. You notice there's a pause. I'm not going to say, well, I'm just joking. I'm not going to masturbate tonight. I'm just saying that. For me, the poop on. No, sorry. There was that puppet dog. He used to just go, yeah, I really like that. For me, the poop on. Yeah, I'm not going to masturbate. From me, the poop on. That makes no fucking sense. Have a good night, folks. This is Walter from iWalter. Sign off for now. Have a good evening.